Going to also record this. All right, we are streaming. Hello, Facebook friends. I am so excited. My name is Judy Herman, author of Beyond Messy Relationships. I have a wonderful colleague and friend, Samantha. She is all the way 6 hours behind. So even though it is noontime Eastern time, it is like 6 o'clock her time. Samantha, like, it's so cool. We have connected through David Bayer's program. We're in the same mastermind group. We're doing the same sprint. We are running. And why don't you share with folks who you are and who you help?
Yes, I will. Thank you. Thanks, Judy. And I really appreciate you doing this. I love collaborating with other fellow coaches and therapists. So first and foremost, I just want to say thank you. And so I'm Samantha Kaaua. Yes, all the way out in Hawaii, or Hawaii, if you want to say it that way. Please don't mind my fur babies and feather babies. They're like, oh, mom's talking in the living room today. What's happening? Because it is 6 a.m. here. I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist here in Hawaii, and I'm also a marriage coach for women. And yeah, it's just been a joy to work with families and couples. And yeah, it's such a big place in my heart.
I think in David Bayer's program, this is something I asked at the top before actually enrolling in the coaching program, is because I wanted to see how many therapists, how many other mental health therapists were there. And there's quite a few. And so it's beautiful to connect with you. We're in the same small group. We meet every week with our coach, and we have these goals in mind. So as we were sharing, and so much of our message is the same, but on first glance, you might think it is vastly opposite, right? And I kind of thought that at the beginning. I thought, oh my gosh. So how has your journey, because I think it's really interesting. I wrote a book called Beyond Messy Relationships, Divine Invitations to Your Authentic Self. Here I'm a therapist who's been married for 40 years, and I have to 2 different husbands, right? And I'm finding myself at this stage in my life as an uncoupled woman, like, whoa, that was really hard to take, first of all. And I've gone through my own journey and have tried doing relationships and growing in the midst of it. So, but Samantha, like, I love it, number one, that you and I are trained in the same modality. We are both Gottman trained therapists. I'm also trained in imago therapy. And if those of you that don't know what these therapies are, only other therapists, marriage and family therapists, probably would know. But I think it's really interesting because you are saying and claiming and are passionate that it only takes one to change, revive, save. What kind of word do you put that it only takes one?
I do say save, but I normally use the word transform. It only takes one to transform your marriage. Yes.
Yes. Okay. To transform, because see, I come from an angle of like the relationship dance, the space in between. So you are as a spouse, and if you've got if you're a woman who has a resistant husband, you are co-creating part of that, right? And what is your part of co-creating? And so I think that's where our messages resonate, because you're saying if one person chooses to change, the dance of that marriage is going to change, right?
Absolutely.
And it could transform it, or it will, regardless, right? It'll transform.
It will regardless.
Absolutely. So tell me more about that. Like, first of all, I think folks need to know, because this is Mental Health Awareness Month, and I've had other therapists on for Counseling Awareness Month, but I think it's beautiful, your perspective, because I'd like to know, folks would like to know, how has your journey, Samantha, brought you to this point of having a passion and saying so boldly and so truthfully, it takes one person to transform your marriage. Tell us your why.
Oh, thank you for asking. Yes, I have a very personal, not just professional, but personal heart in this mission. And oh, there she goes. She wants to tell you my story. She was in the thick of it with us. Let me migrate.
Samantha, you're okay. We can handle it, because this is real life. I love it. We are
Can
here.
You hear her? Is it loud?
It's not loud. I can tune in. I think everybody's fine. You go ahead.
Okay. It's just loud for me. So, okay. As long as it's not loud for you. So as far as my story goes, my husband and I, we were together in high school. We're high school sweethearts. we had our first daughter right out of high school. So we were also teen parents, and we grew up together. And I swore as a child that I would never get divorced like my parents did, and my grandmother did, and my auntie did. And divorce was just so prevalent in my family that I swore I would never get divorced. But then here I was, you know, years later, after I had gotten married, had 3 kids. So I had 2 more kids with my husband. We got married 5 or 6 years later after we had our first daughter. And then we found ourselves on the brink of divorce. And I was like, oh my gosh, how did I get here? I don't understand. And at that time, I already had become, I had gone through marriage and family therapy, my master's program, and was working post-grad. So I was like, oh, and I'm a marriage and family therapist almost. And here I am about to get divorced. Like, what is wrong with me? And so there's just it's just such a, I was just on such a mission, a personal mission to really save my family and really transform my marriage and do something different than what my family had been able to do before me. And so that's really where my passion lies. And I had a husband, or I have a husband. My husband's name is Denver.
You still have the same one, right?
I still have the same husband. He and I have been together forever. We're almost to the point where we've been together for our half of our lives.
Wow.
So we're going, yeah. So we're almost there.
Oh, wow.
But he was not keen to therapy. He was married to a therapist, didn't want to go to a room where she had to talk to 2 of us. He was like,
so funny.
Really?
I mean, I laugh because I've got a story behind it, but you go ahead. That was so true.
And he was just like, I'm fine. Why do I have to change? Right? Why do I have to change?
Yeah.
Why do I have to? I don't want to, like, I'm content. I like the way our lives are. And I wasn't. So it made sense. Like, well, if I'm the one that's discontent, then I'm the one that's going to need to do the soul searching and the transformation. And I did a lot of the forcing, a lot of the ultimatums, a lot of the, if we don't go to couples counseling, I'm done. Like, I am so done, because I just didn't know what else to do. And it made it worse.
Well, I want to pause here for a moment, Samantha, because this is so common. So many of us that are in this field, so many of us that are trained as marriage and family therapists, and we've studied, we've grown, and then we have resistant spouses. And so actually my folks are women who have developed themselves, and then they feel this wedge in between them and their spouse, and what to do about that. So I am very curious, because I think honestly, it's like knowledge alone is not transformation, because we can get to a point where, this is something I call out in my therapy, is like these power over things that we do and we don't even know that we're doing it because we have this knowledge, right? And so, one person can come to counseling and get all this knowledge, and then they can go home and call their husband a narcissist and themselves an empath. And I am so like against those kind of labels. And actually, after being in this profession as long as I am, even the diagnostic labels that we use for people doesn't describe who they really are. There is a full humanity here that we need to tap into, and we need to get to the heart and soul. But I'm hearing you've been through this journey. You know exactly now what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, I had what was it, like a sped up degree in life, PhD, I want to call it, in life experience over my formal experience, because there was nothing that could have replaced me learning it firsthand with my husband. And that's what I feel so grateful for, and something that we've talked about briefly before, but we work off of systems theory, right? That's the basis of family and couples therapy. And that's really the tenet that I stand by. It's if I start to transform, and we're talking about the difference between just gaining knowledge and actually transforming the system of the marriage, then by law, he must either rise up to the occasion, or the marriage would come to a natural completion, right?
Now I want to hold that because I have not heard many people say a marriage coming to a natural completion. I have heard people say the D word. We're all used to the
Correct.
D word, divorce, right? And then with the D word, then we go through divorce attorney, the legal system, and then
Yes.
we end up being adversaries. The reality is, what I believe, I think you do too, when you use that term, that like, if you come to, you call it a natural ending. Is that what you said? A natural ending?
Natural completion.
A natural completion. Yes. So if you've been married for a long time, let's just say 30 years, like I have been, I've got, 4 kids. Well, they grew up to be adults. They grew up to be parents. Me and my first husband were grandparents. We share the same grandkids. We share the
Oh,
same kids.
yeah.
And it's a wonderful thing. So I don't look at that marriage as a quote unquote failure. I think that is like
Mm-mm.
so damaging to people when we judge and like, put labels. But I love this term that you use. It's just so grace filled, Samantha.
Oh, thank you. Yes,
Yeah.
and I agree with you that I'm not I I'm not someone to be for or against marriage or the D word divorce, but I do believe that it does if not all relationships are meant to continue. Not all marriages are meant to go to the next chapter together. And how do we do that in a, like you said, a graceful, eloquent, or even just loving way? And
Mhm,
it's so
mhm.
possible. I believe it's so possible. And for the kids too, like I've got to
Absolutely.
see many different types of divorces, both in personally and professionally. And it just the impact on these children are so much. I just it's so much more. What's the word I'm looking for? But it helps them to evolve and grow and expand when they see their parents come to a completion versus have this nasty divorce and split of their energy.
And
So
there's so
yeah,
much judgment. There's so much judgment.
yes,
I want to hold something else you said, but I think it's very profound. And one of the things that I wholeheartedly believe as well. We have generational systems. Both of us are marriage and, trained in marriage and
yes,
family therapy and all. So you come from a generational line. It's kind of like when you're in a messy relationship, a messy marriage, you keep choosing maybe husbands or
mm-hmm,
partners or boyfriends that you kind of like experiences like this what do you call it, groundhog day. You keep experiencing the
mm-hmm,
same dynamics. Well, little do people know, I mean, neuroscience wise, a lot of this is we've been groomed for a long
yes,
time. I mean, we're learning as far as neuroscience that most of the beliefs that we have and the most of the way that we live and the relationship patterns have been formed before the age of 5 years old. I tell couples
mm-hmm,
that come in, most of the things you're dealing with right now is not just the conflict in the here and now. And it's so
mm-hmm,
true in my
it is,
clinical practice, I think research wise as well, that it's because of the unfinished childhood trauma business before the age of 9 years old. So,
yes,
so you see the human soul is rising up and wants to be healed, and you look to be healed in your partner. So we have these unconscious relationships, right? And I'm sure you
mm-hmm,
kind of know this already. You're raising your level of consciousness, taking responsibility for what you didn't know before, right? You don't want to
yes,
beat yourself up, but to change and to grow and to grow your character makes all the difference, because the work that happens when you come and see a therapist is
mm-hmm.
not just with you. It's like you are paving the way for generations after you, aren't you?
Absolutely. And I love what you say about the patterns. Like one of the things that I teach my couples and my women is that your partner is a perfect reflection of these internal belief systems.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I love working with couples and as well as even just women in marriages or relationships, because I can't give them the perfect feedback that they get from their partner. Like it's amazing
Exactly.
how I'm like, this is divine. Like I can't make this stuff up. So if you come to right, if you come to therapy and you're in a relationship, that's so valuable information to have. They don't need to be in the room. you just need to see the reflection in what it is that they're showing you. And that's part of the awareness and then the transformation. So that I love what you're saying with that. Yes.
Neuroscience wise, we have these what we call mirror neurons in our brains, right?
Yes.
And so that reciprocal interaction that you have, it kind of like you pick up on that. So your partner actually sees whether, even with all their issues, right? Even with all their issues, they see things that you cannot see. And and we all have these hidden things, right? That like it's subconscious, like, oh, I don't think so. I don't think that's true. But the reason you don't think it's true is because it's subconscious. Like we got to bring our level of awareness and bringing that out. There were 3 things that I wrote in my book at the initially onslaught of what I wrote is 3 things about relationships. I hope I can remember all 3 of them. But number 1 is that we all have messy relationships at certain seasons of our lives. Let's not fool ourselves, right?
No.
Like there's not going to be a happy marriage and you not ever experience any kind of messes in that. So it's inevitable you're going to have messes, right?
Yes.
Number 2, that we cannot. Here's something that just some of my readers gave me pushback, but I wholeheartedly believe it still is because you cannot know yourself apart from the intimate relationships that you
have. That is exactly what I love that. That's the reflection.
It is.
You won't learn the lessons you'll learn in the marriage as you'll learn it as a single person. I totally agree.
And see, so if we are in a marriage and we think we've done everything that we can do, and maybe you really have, but if you've not seen your hidden parts and you've not done your own characterological work and grown to this level of awareness, guess what? You're going to divorce that person and you're going to get remarried. And these same things are going to show up, right? They're going to show up in your life.
Exactly. And I told one of my clients who came, and she was one of those who she was post her first marriage and was in a relationship, and she was ready, just off and on. She just wanted to leave him and stay. And I was like, you know what? If you really let's do an experiment. Do you want in or do you want out? And she picked in, and I said, okay, you want in for this experiment, because guess what? If you leave, which is fine, I almost guarantee you, if you didn't learn the lessons or actually see what it is that he's reflecting back to you, you have likely 10 guys lined up behind him that's gonna do the exact same thing until you learn that lesson, my dear.
Yes,
she's like,
absolutely.
oh my gosh.
Yeah. And here's the thing, if you can, and there's a lot of people coming in at different stages and different levels of perhaps depression. I mean, if you are so depressed, even suicidally depressed, and there's some weird things going on, and your spouse truly is, it's like so toxic to be even breathing that same air. It is important for you to get out and then get yourself where you can be strengthened. You can get aligned with yourself. So there's so many different situations, so many different scenarios, but I agree with you, because I think I agree, or maybe you agree, that, when we slap labels on people, because probably that, I mean, if you're going to call your spouse a narcissist, right? And maybe they really are, maybe they do have some possible, but characteristics, but does it do you any good to stay there and to focus on that? No, you need to bring this level of awareness about your part in being in relationship, your co-creation of making that alive. So when you learn how to really stand in your dignity and your worthiness and your value, because so many women don't, and I'm just going to say women, and I that's the population mainly that I work with, and I know it can be the other way too, but how to stand in that knowing your value is going to change. Like when you hold your head high when you walk into a room, when you can look in the mirror and say, you know what, I love you, I'm going to take care of you, and I'm your advocate. I know that sounds probably weird for people, but when they can do that, it changes the dance, doesn't it, Samantha?
Oh, absolutely. Yes. When you advocate for yourself, and I love how you mentioned to see the parts that he's, reflecting back. And I totally believe that we cultivate this part of ourselves that becomes the advocate, that becomes the one that says, you got this, it's okay, you can do this in love. You don't, right? We don't have to be the person that they trigger us to be. We can be the person we want to be and authentically show up in every relationship. But that's only found through the messy ones. Like,
Absolutely. You don't find them in the
fully
happy
agree
ones.
no, we don't grow in good. We don't grow in content. We grow through, right, the hustle and bustle of life.
That's what I found over many, many years of counseling, is that if a woman doesn't rise up and own those things that have perhaps been denied, maybe it's her own strength, maybe it's her own power, that again, she's going to look for something that she doesn't have. So she's going to look for a powerful man, and then she's going to complain about being powered over, right? The main thing is that you have your own sense of self and you get grounded in who you are. Nobody, this is another theme of mine, you cannot do for another human being what only you can do for yourself. And doing for yourself and caring for yourself is a full-time job, right?
Oh my goodness, right?
It really is. But here we're trying to, and that's been my issues for years. I mean, and I've kind of, and here's one other thing I just want to say, because you think, oh yeah, these aha moments, and you never again have to deal with that issue forever.
Oh no.
That's not, no, it's just that you're aware at this level. It's going to show up maybe at another level, but you're going to have then the awareness, oh, I see what I'm doing here. I see I'm trying to, and the term I use is socially engineer. I'm trying to put all these pieces in place. I've written the script and I'm on stage here and I'm the director and they're supposed to be reading their scripts just the way it's supposed to be. No, that's not what
that's not how it works. Even though that's how we perceive it, right? Yes, I totally agree.
We can only manage what God has given us to manage, and that is our emotions, that's our beliefs, that's our feelings, that's our sense of how we show up in life and in relationships.
Absolutely.
But I think you and I are on the same track, right?
Oh, I believe so, wholeheartedly. We have different terminologies maybe and different starting points or set points just because of our own personal experience. But I ultimately think we're doing the same work at different stages or even just at different places. So yeah, I totally agree.
I love it, Samantha. And I apologize if you've made some comments at all. I've not been able to see if anybody has, so I will go back and look. But we want to make sure that that you know how to get in touch with Samantha. So tell them how to get in touch with you, Samantha.
Yes, you can visit my website. It's the gems, the TheGems.com. Some things are updated, some things are not, but that's a good way to get in touch with me. But you can also follow me on Facebook. My personal is Samantha Kaaua, and I also have the Gems as a Facebook page as well. And we can connect. Just let me know how I can support you.
It's been a joy to have you. Is there one thing that you would like listeners to know? And I ask people this, but I'm going to just like, okay, take a deep breath of air. And if that's like awareness and intentionality and risk of growth, is there one thing that you want to leave listeners with?
Yeah, I found that in our society today, you know, I want to disclaim that there's many caveats, like you had said earlier, Judy, about people in toxic relationships and abusive relationships. This doesn't apply. But if you are being told by those that you love and love you that you're done, get out, it's, you know, it's toxic, it's not good for you anymore, and obviously there's no like physical or mental abuse, but there's something in your heart that says you're not done yet, right? That you want to see if this can work. I want you to know that I believe that if there's love there, that it's possible. I'm not saying it will happen or it won't happen. I'm just saying that I believe that it's possible. And there's many people that have come to me in the past saying, I have talked to so many people and they all told me to get divorced. And I came to one of your workshops and I was reignited that this is possible. And things have changed for the better because they took the same advice Judy and I had talked about today and started to transform their marriage simply by doing their own internal work. So I want you to know that there is hope if you have it in your heart that you would still, there's a small part of you that still wants to stay married, I know that it's possible. I just want you to know.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, that is beautiful. That's such a
Thank you.
transformational message. And you know too, as long as you've been married, that this is a living organism, right? And
Yes.
so it is possible, yes, in this season. And you might come across another season and you need to hear
Sure.
the same message and say,
It
I need
it
to
may
know it's
complete
possible,
later.
right? Because
Yes,
it's
yes.
growing. We're all designed to grow and grow up. But Samantha, you are doing such a remarkable work. And
Thank
I just
you.
love it
So
that
are
we
you.
are on the same page here. This is wonderful. So,
Yes.
all right. Well, thanks so much.
Thank you. Have a beautiful weekend.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.